take off. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
So a woman reached out to me and she said she had started to take belly dance classes and she didn't have anything to wear and she felt uncomfortable and all these things. And she came across the site and she was so excited and she hoped that maybe one day she could buy something to wear to her class. So I wrote her back and I said, don't worry, I'll send you some things. So I put together a box for her and some little outfits because, again, I understood that you don't want to be that person that can't participate and can't move because you don't think you look cute like everybody else. So I sent her the box. And I sent it via postal service, so I knew when she got it, and I never heard anything. And so, of course, I was like, could have said thank you. But I didn't hear anything. You go on, and you know, things are happening, and the business is growing, and you're attending shows and stuff like that. So probably about 2 or 3 years later, I get an email out of nowhere. And this woman, she says, you probably don't remember me, but you sent me a box 2 years ago, and she said what you didn't know was that I was a newly divorced mother of an autistic child. And this story always gets me. And she said I felt ugly, and I felt unwanted and unloved. And because you sent me that box, you changed my life. So that story gets me every time, but it's just an example of when you feel really down and you feel like, what the hell am I doing? Is this making any difference? Then you get something like that and you realize, yeah, I am making a difference. So I felt a little bad about saying that she didn't say anything, but you know, it was just a beautiful story. And she said, I'm now remarried to a wonderful man and I'm living an amazing life. And I just want to thank you. The idea for ShimmySista came about as a result of me trying to find another element to add to my fitness routine. I wanted to do something different. I had tried jazzercise, I had tried a number of different things, but I wanted to do something different. So a friend of mine asked me to come to a belly dance class with her. Initially, I thought she was insane because that's not something in my mind that plus size women did. You know, belly dance, are you kidding me? I didn't want people laughing at me. I initially said, no way, I'm not doing it. But she kept trying to convince me, and she invited me to her showcase. They were having a showcase. So she invited me, and it changed my life. I looked up on the stage, and I saw women of all shapes and sizes just really appreciating their bodies and having a wonderful time. And so I said, okay, maybe I will take the class. So I did, and I fell in love with it. But then eventually it came time for us to rehab our recital, and I could not find anything to wear. I was so afraid that I was going to get laughed at. Everybody else had these cute outfits, but I had nothing. So I heard about an event that was taking place for belly dancers, and I decided to go. It was a conference. So I said, surely I'll find something there to wear. Of course I didn't. Nothing. And I saw all these women walking around who were plus size as well, who had also discovered belly dance, and they didn't have any bags in their hands. So I thought, wow, this is something here. These women have discovered it. And if you know anything about women, you know that if a woman doesn't feel comfortable about what she looks like, she's not going to go to the party, she's not going to participate in the event, she's going to stay home. So I said, all these women have discovered belly dance and none of them have a bag in their hand. So I thought, this is a good business for me to start because they too have found it and appreciated it, and I wanted them to be able to feel comfortable and explore the dance form without feeling uncomfortable. It started in about 2006, I think, when I took that first class. And it was wonderful. It was exciting, and it made you feel sexy and pretty, and you know, you found your body moving in ways you never thought you could move, and you saw things happening. So it was cool. It was very cool. The very first thing that I did was I decided to go back to the same conference that I had initially attended and didn't find anything to wear. So I was lucky enough to find a small business, woman-owned business, who also made belly dance clothing out of New York. And I talked to her, and she said, sure, I'll make you some things in plus sizes, and we can see where it goes. So she made me a whole collection of stuff. I spent all this money. I signed up to participate in the event. I set my stuff up and I sat and nobody came by. And by the end of the day, I was almost in tears. I was like, oh my God, I made a huge mistake. Nobody wants what I have. Everybody's walking by. And I'm thinking, okay, she's plus size. She's curvy. Why aren't they stopping at my booth? What the heck is going on? So finally, out of desperation, I just stopped some lady. I was like, hey, I'm over here. Did you want to take a look at my stuff? And she looked at me, and she looked at the clothes. Then she looked back at me. She looked back at the clothes. She was like, oh. I said, well, I saw you walk by, and you didn't stop. And I was just wondering what was going about and why you didn't stop. And she said, well, I'll tell you. I've been coming to this conference for a number of years, and there has never been anything for me. So I wasn't even looking. I go straight to the soaps. I go straight to the jewelry. I'm never able to buy any clothes. After that, it was off to the races. And she bought stuff, she told friends, and it was on after that. The biggest challenge for becoming an entrepreneur is getting over the fear of failure. Thinking that nobody's going to like what you're doing. They're not going to like what you are offering them. Somebody's going to have something better or more interesting or more fun, and so why should I even bother? And then you have to come to the realization that no one's going to do it like you do it, right? So if you like it and you need it and you want it, the likelihood is that someone else out there likes it, needs it, and wants it as well. So sometimes you have to just plunge forward and do it and test the waters. That was my way of doing it by attending that first show. I tested the waters. The waters were a little bit icy as far as the reception, but once I kind of got into it, I became the go-to. So for several years after that, I started an online business. And for several years after that, I attended that same conference, and people would specifically come to the conference looking for me. So the word spread, and before I knew it, I was sending boxes to Australia and Canada and Hawaii and the Caribbean, and I became known as the go-to for plus-size clothing in the belly dance community. One of the things I like to do for my vacation is to go on cruises. And over the years, I've done probably about 19 cruises. And it's always fun, it's always relaxing. But of course, as an entrepreneur, your mind is always rolling and thinking. So you'd go to the little shop on the ship, and they'd always have the ugly big girl clothes. A shirt with a big anchor on it. You know, nothing sexy, nothing fabulous. Then you get off on one of the islands, same thing. So you're lucky if you can come away with a Jammin' in Jamaica shirt or something that says Irie on it or something. But you're not going to find those cute little breezy outfits that all the other people are coming away with. So one of my dreams is to open up a boutique on one of the islands and sell cruise wear for plus sizes. Because every woman wants to come back from a fabulous vacation saying, oh, look at what I bought, and I got this on my vacation, and that kind of thing. So I want to be able to leave a legacy. I knew what it's like to grow up feeling excluded, feeling like you didn't belong, feeling that you weren't going to get picked. You know, one of the worst things in the world is for you to get picked after the girl with the wraparound braces when it's time to play soccer. So, you know, although we've come a long way in the plus size community and body acceptance and no shaming and all that, we still have a long way to go. So I think that what I want to leave is a legacy, because I want women to feel good about themselves, to experience life to the fullest, and not care whether or not they have a few extra pounds, whether or not they have a few extra chins, whatever. It's just living your life and not saying, well, when I lose 10 pounds, then I will. When I get thinner, then I will. Do it now, because tomorrow is not promised. So one of the things I want to leave behind is a legacy of women learning to really love themselves and appreciate themselves, and knowing that they have something to offer the world that nobody else but them can offer.